Alright, so I get a lot of requests to do tutorials for some of the songs I've uploaded. As much as I would love to put tutorials together for them, it takes a lot of time, obviously. And unfortunately, with a lot of these songs, specifically like Defying Gravity, it just wouldn't be possible to do a tutorial in one video to cover this entire song, especially this arrangement of it, since it's, in my opinion, a bit more complicated of an arrangement than most. So what I've decided to do is just, if people are out there trying to learn some of these songs, some of these piano arrangements, and it just so happens that we have the same version of the music, sheet music. In this case, this one comes from the Wicked Songbook. Shoot me a message and let me know what part you're struggling with, and perhaps maybe I could shed some light on it and try to help you out with some of these sections. So today's tutorial video comes to you from a question from a user by the name of Outsider2212. Who's struggling with a section in this song. So I'm going to try to do my best to maybe just shed some light on it. So if you look at bottom of page 2 in the Wicked Songbook, where it starts Allegro, and all the way up to You Can't Pull Me Down. So let me just play it for you real quick and you can see what we're talking about. So, as you can see, couple measures of music there. Not terribly complicated. In fact, I wouldn't say it's the hardest part of this song by any means of the imagination, but it's definitely got some challenging, tricky little things to put together and make it sound decent. Fingering being the most important, in my opinion, in that right hand. That right hand has some really tricky fingering. So actually, if you look at what I've done with the music here, I'll pop the page out. Get it out. Whenever I learn songs, I tend to spend a lot of time making pencil notes in the music with regards to the finger. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I've got a lot of fingering through these eighth notes. The reason I do that is because as I learn it, I try to see what works best for my hands and my fingers, so that it obviously makes sense, smooth, and sounds good. And then what I do is I write the finger numbers on the notes on the sheet music, and they basically just kind of serve as little reminders to me as I'm playing through how to finger some of these things. So let's start with the left hand on this section. So Stephen Schwartz music is very classic, with lots of octaves, big bass octaves, and this one is no exception. So I think he does that to give your left hand a bigger sound. So let's start with the octaves in this one. A lot of eighth notes, but mostly just big, like half note, dotted half note octaves. So this one starts on A flat. So it goes like this, and we're going to count it out. Counting this thing out is going to be critical to putting it together and making it sound good. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you'll notice there, kind of something to point out there, is to count it slowly while you play it, and then obviously as you get better at it, start speeding it up gradually. But don't ever try to tackle it at full regular speed from the get-go. Otherwise you'll never learn the rhythm as well as the correct notes. In fact, what you'll start to learn is you'll start to learn a lot of mistakes. So that's bottom hand. So let's talk about top hand. So the top hand starts on an A flat as well. You'll notice the bottom is a big octave A flat. That's also the first note that I like to hit with my pinky. So I'm going to, in this case, rather than counting the right hand, I'm just going to point out to you what fingers I'm using because I think it's more important. So I go 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to come back up here with my thumb and go hit that A flat. 1, 2, and then I'm going to come back down here with my thumb again. It's time to, and then I'm going to start that next measure, which is actually a D flat. I'm going to put my third finger, which is just going to fall naturally right onto it. 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do kind of something funky here. Is I'm going to hit my pinky on that A flat and my thumb on the C natural, because that's basically the last eighth notes of that measure. And then the first note of the next measure is a 2, which is a D flat. 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 2. And then similar to what I did in the end of that other measure, we're going to go 4 and 1 in this one. 4 and 1, 2, and then we're going to do 3 and 2 on that E flat and C. 3, and then what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to bring my second finger up to that D flat, so it's going to be 2 and 3 there, and then go 5 A flat, 1, 2, 5, and then come back to the thumb to start over kind of a new section here. I think, and then I'm going to go 4 and 3 on that D flat or D flat and E flat. Oh, and then 1, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 5, 1, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 5, 4, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, and then actually the last eighth note in that measure you would think is going to be played with the bottom hand, but then what I do is I just take my third finger and play that D flat. So that's pretty much it, and then it obviously comes into the kind of that intro thing that he does with the song. So there you go. Do that with both hands, through and through, left and right, and then slowly put it together. So let's just play it slow together before, this would be kind of what I'd be doing before I start really trying to practice the two hands together and bring it up to speed. So we go. Thumb, thumb, 5. Notice my third finger there on that last eighth note. G flat. There you go. Practice it, post it. I'd love to see how you're doing with it. And then if you have any other questions, let me know.